Once upon a time, there were two groups of predators who constantly fought over the same prey. They battled one another for generations until, finally, one pushed the other out. Over time, the winning predators began to miss their enemy. Some helped their former rivals return to the once contested forest and fields. And now, it only remains to be seen if they can live side by side.
While it may not read like an old storybook, Michigan wildlife biologist Brian Roll keeps a list on his computer of important wolf dates.
We actually, throughout the early 1900s, killed every wolf you see. They were a bounty animal. All the way up to 1956, we felt there was probably fewer than 100 wolves in the Upper Peninsula. And just 4 years later, the whole bounty was actually removed from the state of Michigan.
By the end of the 1960s, gray wolves had all but disappeared from the region, with one small pocket remaining in northeast Minnesota's Iron Range. In 1966, wolves were listed under the precursor to the Endangered Species Act.
As things changed, both ecologically and socially, people started to realize that predators were an important part of an ecosystem.
By the 1980s, wolf populations began to rebound across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Roll says exceeding planned population goals should have resulted in wolves being removed from the endangered species list. Instead, a series of administrative changes in answering lawsuits have meant the wolf status on the list in Michigan has whipsawed, changing 7 times in an 11-year period.
So it's been this yo-yo movement that I don't think has helped wolves. All it does is build this animosity that we can't do anything. We can't protect our own livestock. We can't protect our pets.
Roll says when those lawsuits succeed, the rare wolf found hunting lambs or calves can only be dealt with through non-lethal means. Nearly all of those measures eventually stop being effective.
If we could empower the farmer to do some of that work, it grants wolves, some approval rating that I can deal with that. But when they're this hands off that even though they're killing cattle, I'm not allowed to kill that wolf, that creates the animosity. And what they do is they tell their neighbor tells their buddy, and then it just snowballs. And so people have this belief that wolves are rampantly killing livestock, which isn't the case.
250 miles away in Minnesota, wolf numbers are climbing and territory is expanding. The state estimates the wolf population now numbers more than 2,800, about 2/3 of the total in the western Great Lakes region. One research team is getting up close and personal in Voyageurs National Park, near International Falls, Minnesota. Their trail camera footage has helped draw attention to the wolves' gradual return. Unlike in Michigan and Wisconsin, wolves in Minnesota are listed as threatened rather than endangered. This allows government officials to use the last resort option of killing a wolf known to be causing repeated problems with livestock.
When wolves are causing problems by eating sheep or eating cattle or hunting dogs or pets, which they've been documented to do, no one wins, right? It's a problem for the owners of those animals. It can be an economic problem. Wolves don't win because often USDA Wildlife Services will come in and trap and lethally remove wolves as well to mitigate that conflict. So I think everyone has a shared interest to minimize that.
Wildlife experts have a range of non-lethal options, including guard animals such as dogs, donkeys, and llamas. If those fail, streamers, lights, and alarms could be used to frighten wolves. But none of these work every time.
You have folks who raise livestock who think the only good wolf is a dead wolf, and you have folks who absolutely enjoy and are thrilled by wolves on the landscape where they're operating.
Cattle producer Keith Carlson is learning to coexist with the wolves, which have returned to his Sandstone, Minnesota farm, about an hour south of Duluth.
As a youngster growing up, if we ever heard of or seen a wolf, it was very, very rare. It's probably in the past 20 years or less that we've started to have to deal with wolves that are in this area. There's many producers or ranchers throughout this area that have had wolf problems within the past 10 years. It seems to have gotten even worse.
Carlson says the challenges are offset a bit by government reimbursement for livestock killed by wolves. However, the evidence must be clear that a wolf was responsible.
Last summer on our ranch, we had 5 confirmed wolf kills, and I'm saying we had 8, but we couldn't prove the other 3. But we do have agencies that work well with us, help verify that it was a wolf kill.
Carlson says Midwest residents are being misled when a population goal is met but doesn't result in delisting.
They all came to an agreement, which that's kind of what's frustrating for us.
To me, it opens up attacking the whole Endangered Species Act. And I certainly don't want to see major changes made to the Endangered Species Act because of one species. When you look at wolves in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, it should be a celebration of the Endangered Species Act, not used as a tool to keep them perpetually on the list.
For Market to Market, I'm Colleen Bradford Krantz.